Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's November 25th, 2014, and it's 19 minutes after 7 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Tuesday, Mike. Come on, you made it past Monday. It's one of those cool weeks where you get lots of days off, like 2 or 3. I don't know how many you get off.
Yeah. The kids have off 3.
3 days for the kids.
Yep. People, I think, are off now.
All right. Well,
leading up to the holiday, which is okay.
Let's see. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning, Larry.
It is 68 degrees here at the studios of The Source, WOCA, broadcasting live from the paddock mall just outside the WOCA commissary.
Yep.
Less affectionately known as the food court.
Yep.
We are 2 days away from Turkey Day. Mm-hmm. And 3 days away from Black Friday.
Yeah.
1 month away from Christmas.
Exactly.
And I'm sure that Hanukkah is in there somewhere, in Kwanzaa. Yep. So those who celebrate those two holidays, thank you for listening.
That's right.
And it's the holiday season. It's starting to feel holiday-ish, unless, of course, you're looking at the news from Ferguson, Missouri.
Yeah.
Then you start to wonder what is going on in the world. But we'll talk about that. In fact, I do want to talk about that at 7:35. Mm-hmm. I guess we all have an opinion about it, and the phone lines will be open so that you can express your opinion on this show if you choose to. I would love to hear from some police officers, deputies, people who work in law enforcement in general. Mm-hmm. Hear what you have to say about it. There was a stand your ground issue in the news. Not that was used up there. I'm not trying to say it, but there was a stand your ground issue in the news. Mm-hmm. A plea bargain. Remember the Florida woman who had been sentenced to 20 years in prison up in Jacksonville? Remember her?
Yes. For shooting at the ceiling.
For shooting at the ceiling, which was absolutely ridiculous. She should have been allowed to use stand your ground, and now she has accepted a plea bargain that greatly reduces her sentence. The 20-year sentence came in a case in which the woman, a mother of 3, said she was attempting to flee her husband when she picked up a handgun and fired it into the wall, the ceiling, whatever.
Yeah.
Nobody was struck by the bullet after having the initial conviction overturned. Her name, by the way, is Marissa Alexander. Mm-hmm. Marissa was sentenced yesterday to, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
65 days in jail.
Oh, my God.
On 2 counts of aggravated assault with credit for time already served since her 2012 conviction.
Okay.
Which means she doesn't have to go anywhere but stay home. She's got 2 years of house arrest.
Oh,
and she agreed to wear a monitoring device.
And house arrest. Oh, my God. That is so stupid.
Yeah, it's better than 20 years.
Yeah, it is. But
better
the other
than 20
people
years.
Get off scot-free when, I stood my ground. Okay, you don't got to go to jail or do anything.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that's in this. But better than 20 years. At least she'll be home for Thanksgiving, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to the Ferguson story, the big news this morning out of Ferguson, Missouri, a grand jury decided not to indict Officer Darren Wilson in the shooting death of Michael Brown. Mm-hmm. And you all know the story. And I don't really want to get into it right now other than to tell you that I do want to get into it at 7:35. Mm-hmm. I don't... I do have an opinion. I don't want to say I don't have an opinion, but my strongest opinion is about the reaction to it. That to me is absurd, and it is absurd. And fair or unfair, the Brown family even thinks it's absurd, from what I understand. Mm-hmm. So, and they went through a horrible thing.
Because the people are burning and looting and destroying their own neighborhood that they live in. I mean,
I never understand that, and I never understood it in any of the stories that we've had. It just doesn't make any sense. All right, so we'll do that at 7:35. 8:35, we'll read the news in short form. There may be 1 or 2 stories about this story from Ferguson, mm-hmm. But for the most, it's just one of many stories.
Yeah.
It is really one of many stories, but we'll do that at 8:35. 9 o'clock, Carol Ann Baldwin will be in here, and we will all be in the garden with Carol Ann.
Yeah.
Which is the name of her show.
Yes.
I just noticed your bracelets. They're pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Berkshire Hathaway Home Team Realty with Bob Kennedy. If you have been saving your pennies so that you can have a down payment for a home, mm-hmm. or perhaps you've been thinking about moving somewhere, and you need to sell your home, Bob Kennedy has the answers to some of the questions that may have come up since you tried to come to a conclusion about what you wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I guess if you already have a realtor, then you already have somebody taking you by the hand, right?
Yeah.
Bob Kennedy does that on the air and helps all of us understand it. So tune in if you're not if you don't want to be a caller, and definitely call in if you have some questions. We all learn from your calls, and we do that at 10:05. Joe Reichel does a similar thing. He comes in at 10:35, and he answers questions about the homes that you're living in as far as fixing them. Maybe they've been damaged for some reason. By the way, we have a weather alert for this afternoon and this evening. It doesn't seem like it right now, does it?
Oh, we do. No, it does. I didn't bring my raincoat.
Yeah, heavy rain's supposed to come.
It's going to be nice.
Later on, yeah. Peter Miller Russo at 11:05. He is a non-denominational Christian, and he's written a book called Proclaim His Holy Name. There you go. Uncovering Jehovah's Will for His Name. And then Clea Newman coming on at 11:20. Clea is the Senior Director of Special Initiatives at Serious Fun Children's Network.
Yeah. Yep. That's a place where children and with serious illnesses go to simply have fun.
Yeah, the Serious Fun
For
Children's
free.
Network. We're doing something pretty cool here at the mall, too, with the children, right?
Yeah, December 7th, Pearl
December
Harbor
7th.
Day. I think they've got 2 more spaces open
For special children?
for special
They get
children.
special treatment. They're going to lower the lights a little bit. And
Yeah,
the,
and
the sound
not
is going to be...
noise. Yeah, not any
And they get to
noise.
visit Santa Claus? Is that the idea?
Yeah, and have a breakfast.
Oh, by the way, I should have given you the claim to fame of Clea Newman. She is Paul Newman's daughter
Yep, and Joanne Woodward.
and Joanne Woodward's daughter. Yeah, she
Yep.
did have a mommy.
Yes,
She had both.
both the superstars of Hollywood, such givers.
Yeah. So Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward's daughter, Clea Newman. See, I'm always reluctant to tell you that stuff, although I never refrain from telling you. I always do
Yeah.
tell you. Because I think everybody has a right to their own claim to fame, whatever it may be.
Oh, certainly.
Whatever it is they've done.
Certainly.
Oh, man, do I have a hard game for you and Joe.
Good, I can't
On
wait.
Fun with Joe.
Yes.
Oh, gosh. I took this test and failed miserably.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know what happened.
Hello.
I just fell over. I have a pilgrim trivia.
Oh really? Oh,
Everything, I don't know. Somebody's going to call. Come on, Larry, that's not right. I don't know. I looked it up and I found it, this information.
Nice. Yeah, you do your research. You don't just make
There's
things
so
up.
much I never knew about the pilgrims.
Well, this is. I can't wait now.
And of course, I really picked it because Joe can do that John Wayne line so well. That
Yeah.
John Wayne line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what's it? Come on, Pilgrim or something?
Yeah.
Well,
Way
here you
to
go,
go, Pilgrim,
Pilgrim.
or
Way to go,
something.
Pilgrim. What does he say?
Something pilgrim. I don't know.
Here's to you, Pilgrim.
Yeah.
What is it Joe says all the time?
I can't remember now.
He's looking at you, Pilgrim. One of them.
That's right.
Anyway. Well,
Stand your
gosh.
ground, pilgrim.
Yeah. Hey, Pilgrim.
Don't let the,
Me tanto, you Pilgrim. I can't remember what he says, but Joe does it all the time. Every time he imitates John Wayne, he does a Pilgrim line.
I know. It's so great. It's so real. It's genuine.
But what does he say?
I can't remember what it is now.
You can't remember what he
Pilgrim.
says.
I can't remember that line.
You just know the one word. Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Now, looky here, Pilgrim. Is that what he said?
Looky.
Looky here.
Oh, maybe you're getting close now.
Why? That feels close?
Looky here. Yeah, that sounds close. I mean, he wouldn't say, I don't think John Wayne would say looky here.
Y'all
but
come,
he'd-
y'all come back, Pilgrim.
Or now look here, pilgrim. Maybe it's now look here, pilgrim.
Get off my horse, Pilgrim. All right,
The
sorry.
meat of the turkey is very tasty.
The meat of the turkey is very tasty, Pilgrim. Thank you. All right, and then when Galen is on, I have a list of things that children are thankful for. And these, I looked through the list, and you must wonder when you look at some of these things, did mommy really write these things, or did the child really say these things? Some of them I'm kind of confident that the child said, but
Yeah.
others, okay, mom
or dad.
Mom or dad interjected something there. Anyway, it's a fun list. It's kind of along the lines of the things children say, or the children say the darndest things, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Letter. And then, did I forget anything? Oh, let me go.
I don't know.
Let me answer the phone.
Okay.
Hello. Good morning.
Howdy, Pilgrim.
What is it?
Howdy.
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 Howdy, Pilgrim. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Howdy,
I
pilgrim.
don't know. I can't remember what it is.
I can't.
All right. Let me tell you about the weather real
Now, see
quickly.
here,
Let me
Pilgrim?
tell you about the weather.
This will be bothering me.
The National Weather Service has issued a hazardous weather outlook for Central Florida for this afternoon, this evening, and tonight. The report states that locally heavy rainfall is expected. Rainfall totals 2 to 4 inches are expected. High temperatures today in the upper 70s with lows tonight in the lower 50s. So some cool weather moving in right away, it sounds like. After the rain, which is expected to end sometime tomorrow morning, even cooler temperatures. High temperatures tomorrow in the lower 60s.
Okay.
With a breeze from the northwest. There's a small craft advisory for boats. And then tomorrow night, mostly clear skies will usher in cold temperatures.
Oh, good.
With lows Wednesday night and Thanksgiving morning around 40 degrees.
Yeah, see, Thursday's a chilly day, so we...
And then high temperatures on Thursday in the upper 60s with lows Thursday night and Friday morning in the upper 30s.
Okay.
And then it starts warming up again after that. Nothing freezing, just upper 30s is the lowest it gets so far. Oh, I want to tell you one more thing.
Okay.
The U.S. Forest Service is selling permits to cut a tree down in the Ocala National Forest. $7 is what the permit costs.
Oh, nice.
$7 will give you a permit. You'll get a map and directions on how to get to the area that they want you to cut the tree down in. Go get yourself a Christmas tree for $7 from the Ocala National Forest. The sale goes on until Christmas Eve.
This is a Fox News Alert. I'm Steve Rappaport. A lawless night in Ferguson, Missouri.
We've heard multiple shots fired outside the Ferguson Police Department, and here along West Florissant Avenue, tear gas deployed. Police cars set on fire and businesses looted and destroyed. They're going up in flames. This all in reaction to no indictment of Officer Darren Wilson in the shooting death of Michael Brown, a shooting the grand jury has ruled justified.
Fox Radio's Jeff Manasso. At least 29 people arrested, but no deaths or injuries reported.
I don't think we were underprepared, but I'll be honest with you, unless we bring 10,000 policemen in here, I don't think we can prevent folks that really are intent on just destroying a community.
St. Louis County Police Chief John Belmar. Brown's parents say they're profoundly disappointed. Officer Wilson is expected to resign. This is a Fox News Alert.
Fox News Early Prime, breaking down business news and its impact on your bottom line. Your World with Neil Cavuto.
That's how I do business. That's why I am business.
Bold positions and brash opinions on the topics America is buzzing about. The Five.
How do you think this will set in with the American people?
This will be the pulse of the nation.
Washington insight and political know-how from the best in the Beltway. Special report with Brett Baer.
The epicenter of the political world is here.
The number one place for fair and balanced coverage. Fox News Channel.
What's wrong with working hard to make our lives and our kids' lives better? Nothing. At Fox Business, we don't have a problem with success. We have a very big problem with those who get in the way of it. We don't come out of the box bashing those who make money, just the politicians stealing it and the bureaucracies wasting it. We're not just sitting behind a desk. We're out in the field, on the floor, with the folks. Because when a story moves forward, so do we.
Fox Business, the power to prosper. Check your local listings. Experience Christmas at Gaylord Palms, November 15th through January 4th with Ice, featuring the Nutcracker. Relive your favorite scenes from the classic ballet, hand-carved in more than 2 million pounds of ice sculptures and slides. Enjoy a special bonus area, the Frostbite Factory, and watch artisans from Harbin, China carve amazing ice sculptures before your eyes. Your awe-inspiring experience concludes with the wonder of the Nativity in Ice. For tickets and packages, visit christmas@gaylordpalms.com.
You spend the season making the holidays brighter for everyone on your list. This year, how about doing the same for yourself? Let PackMail take care of all your holiday packing and shipping so you can enjoy a little peace and joy too. Just one stop packs up and ships all of your holiday joy to the world, delivered on time and intact. How's that for wrapping up your holiday hassles? Stop by PackMail today in the Churchill Square on 17th Street and save 15% on your shipping when you mention WOCA, excluding USPS.
This is a public notice. Local residents can now save thousands of dollars on their next car, truck, or SUV. It's not a tent sale, because no tent is big enough to hold this many cars. It's OcalaForSale.com. Say goodbye to sticker shock. OcalaForSale.com has thousands of vehicles with no stickers at all. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, loss proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
News Talk 1370. WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Hey, I'm Gary.
And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line and a new spoiler and a new truck.
We can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
All right, 25 minutes before 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. A little beginning of an overcast day, I guess you could say, right? Mm-hmm. Looks a little bit overcast. Right now, though, pretty nice. 69 degrees here at the mall. Kind of quiet out there. It'll be pretty busy. And just see, this Thursday about this time, it'll be dead. It'll be dead. We'll have a fun morning. It'll be Thanksgiving morning. We always have a fun morning Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. Usually refrain from most of the bad news, and unless it's really needing to be announced. And pretty much have a fun Thanksgiving morning, usually every Thanksgiving. And then the next day, it is havoc.
It is. It's really something.
You know, years ago when we were broadcasting from the Cascades, when the Cascades was a shopping mall of sorts.
It was.
It was called a mall, even though it wasn't by what you call a mall. But it was a shopping center. And when WOCA first moved into that shopping center on Thanksgiving, it was not Thanksgiving, but on Black Friday. I don't even know if we called it Black Friday back then.
I don't recall.
But the sales were on for sure, and it was packed, even though that was a rather expensive place to buy things.
Oh, I bought a puzzle at regular price for $20. For my children. It's 20. That was the cheapest thing they had in that toy store.
Puzzle?
It was a puzzle.
Why'd you buy it?
And it was in French. Well, because it was at the toy store and it was in French, and I thought, well, I gotta buy something from the mall. I couldn't afford that huge
and this mall wasn't built
that
yet.
Was hanging there.
This mall, the Paddock Mall, was not built yet.
It wasn't. That was the only one.
And the other thing I want to say is there was no Toys R Us in town at that point either.
No.
Do you remember?
I do
remember. There was no Paddock Mall. Yeah. There was no Toys R Us.
Right.
It's hard for some people to imagine this.
Exactly.
But the Cascades was kind of a shopping hub for a while, and they... I don't know if the rent was so high, and that's why the shops had to charge so much, but it was expensive to buy stuff there.
I mean, only the people that owned horse farms and things could afford that, that area, because it was really expensive.
So the rest of us peons went to Gainesville because they had a mall back then, the Gainesville Mall, not the Oaks Mall.
No.
But the Gainesville Mall, which is, I don't even know if that's still open.
The building is open, but I don't know what it is now. It might have little shops.
For those of you who can relate to that, you're old like us.
Yeah. So. It was nice. It was real pretty at Christmas time, though. They had the prettiest Santa Claus there with the biggest red cherry you ever saw. So I would take my children every year to get their pictures taken with Santa there.
So fast forward to now, and of course, fast forward to the last couple of years, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, when the Cascades was pretty much dead. I mean, it has business offices, but there's not a whole lot of foot traffic there as much as there was when it was a shopping mall. And last year, after Joe and Dan and Missy and Patsy decided to move us over here to the Paddock Mall, last year was the first Thanksgiving here.
Yeah.
Right? And it was just like the old days over there, where you look out the window and you see the massive numbers of people on the day after Thanksgiving. I really don't think we called it Black Friday back then. I don't think
so either. I think it was the Friday after Thanksgiving sales. I think that's technically what they call it.
All right.
Sort of.
Let's talk about Ferguson, Missouri. If you want to call in at any point, just interrupt me. You got something to say, go ahead and say it. The grand jury has made their decision. It was announced last night, and suddenly thousands of people flooded the streets and started rioting. And did you see this? There was one of the CNN reporters, a lady, was hit in the head with a rock while she was reporting.
Oh my God, I didn't see that.
So they're burning down the businesses in Ferguson.
Yeah.
They set fire to some of the cars in Ferguson.
Stupid.
And explain to me how that helps anything.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Explain to me how that helps anything. If you say, and I know there's a lot of people who say that the shooting was a racially motivated shooting. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know that the grand jury had more facts than I ever will. Mm-hmm. And I know that they looked at it all, and I'm sure it wasn't easy for them to come to a conclusion. And I do think we have racist attitudes in our country coming from both directions.
Oh, certainly.
But not from everybody.
Certainly.
And this is my point. Not from everybody. So the guy who owns the discount auto place, I think that was one of the businesses that they set on fire. Mm-hmm. My goodness.
Yeah.
He sells you auto parts. The woman who was reporting from CNN, she tell me for 1 second that you're not doing all of this damage to get attention. You're doing it to get attention. You have a CNN reporter giving you the very attention you want, and you throw a rock at her head?
Yeah.
How is that smart?
Yeah.
How is that even smart?
That is so ridiculous.
There was another story. I don't know if you heard this one. Let me get this up here. There's another case, a case of a young man named Dylan Taylor, similar to Michael Brown. He was shot to death by a police officer. Also a racially divided case. The difference is Dylan is white, and the police officer who shot him was black. I really think police officers have one of the hardest jobs there is.
Yep.
When there are people doing bad things, and I'm not trying to say anything about any individual. I don't know what went on between Michael Brown and the police officer that shot him. I mean, except for what we know from the news.
Yeah.
I suppose that the grand jury had more information than any of us do.
But the story you just brought up, not Ferguson, but the other one, there wasn't any rioting in the streets or anything when it happened in reverse, when a black police officer shot a white person.
That was on August 11th, outside of a 7-Eleven in South Salt Lake. Anyway, it's just one of those things that Dylan Taylor didn't get the news, I guess, because nobody was threatening to tear up the town as a result of that.
Right. Right. So
there was a story. Let me see. The Missouri grand jury's decision not to indict a white police officer on any charges in the fatal August shooting of an unarmed black teenager. By the way, Dylan, this other guy, I can't remember his name now, but that was also in August. Dylan Taylor, also in August.
But we didn't hear about that because it was the opposite.
Exactly. We didn't hear about it because it was the opposite.
There was no Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton that came down to dispute that shooting.
Angry crowds took to the streets around Ferguson, Missouri. I'm sure you know this. Police department at the police department after the grand jury determined there was no probable cause to charge Officer Darren Wilson with any crime for the shooting of 18-year-old Michael Brown. The incident highlighted longstanding racial tensions in the predominantly black city, which has a white-dominated power structure. So maybe, why is that?
Yeah.
I mean, why does that have a white-dominated power structure? If that is the issue, then somebody needs to get out and vote. Either that or they have a corrupt voting system.
Yeah, because the voters, it's up to the people to vote for who they want to vote.
Or the voters voted for whoever's in office because they figured they would be the best person and didn't consider race, which is how we're supposed to vote.
Exactly.
Wilson could have faced charges ranging from involuntary manslaughter to first-degree murder. I'm sure you know that, too. The storefront windows were smashed near the Ferguson Police Department. At least 2 cars in the street were set on fire. This is from last night. There's been more since then. Gunshots could be heard. Police responded with volleys of tear gas and flashbang canisters. There's simply too much violence going on for them to handle it all.
And people of all colors are rioting in the streets because you look at the images from there, and it's not just one-sided. It's all colors are rioting down there, up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you see the images on the, on the news, the visual images, and you just don't see one color.
And then if you kind of pull back the camera a little bit, look at the whole country, thousands of people flooded the streets of Los Angeles after the decision last night. New York had some issues.
Orlando, right?
Did they?
I think
Did they? A protest, anyway, there have been marches. They've been chanting, hands up, don't shoot, which is the slogan that's become the rallying cry. Anybody out there work for the police department or the sheriff's office or the highway patrol? I want to hear what you have to say. The racially charged case in Ferguson has inflamed tensions and reignited debates over police-community relations, even in cities hundreds of miles from the predominantly black St. Louis suburb. For many staging protests, the shooting was personal, calling to mind other galvanizing encounters with local law enforcement in that city.
I was hoping we're all past this.
So how would we handle this at this point? How would you know to make what would you do is the best way to answer this, to make sure this doesn't happen again? What would you do?
Yeah.
What would you do if you were a police officer?
So would you just say, okay, the bad guy wins, I'm going
Why
back to the police station?
I don't know. What I would do,
that's crazy.
If I were the president, I think I would say I want all the heads of the police to meet me in Washington, D.C. I want to ask you for ideas, because you would have the ideas. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Mostly cloudy today with showers and thunderstorms. Some of the rain will be heavy. In fact, any thunderstorm can bring flooding, downpours, and damaging winds to the area. High 77 to 81. Tonight, cloudy, breezy, and turning cooler with rain. Some of it heavy, along with a thunderstorm early. Lows in the mid-50s in the northwest part of the zone to near 70 along the coast. But tomorrow, morning clouds and a couple of showers. There may be some breaks of sun in the afternoon with highs in the 60s. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Joe Lundberg.
Let's face it, nowadays it can be hard to find American-made products, and that's something that Cabinet Sales of North Florida is well aware of. That's why they're an authorized dealer of Wellborn Cabinetry, family-owned and American-made since 1961. Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your answer for complete turnkey kitchen remodels and whole house cabinetry. Their cabinets are finished with solvent-based enamels for a long-lasting finish that's second to none. Available in an incredible selection of door styles and colors to choose from to turn your dream kitchen into a reality. In-house design and drawing services are available. Come by and see our displays for yourself at the Floors of the Villages, 3935 County Road 216 in Oxford, or Exquisite Design Kitchen and Bath in Bellevue, right across the street from the Bellevue Library. So whether you're looking for bookcases, kitchen, bath, or outdoor kitchen, Cabinet Sales of North Florida is your one-stop source of quality cabinets. For a free estimate, call 352-427-2647. That's 352-427-2647. Cabinet Sales of North Florida.
Hi, my name is Dr. Erica Olstein with A Better You Healthcare Acupuncture and Eastern Medicine. As primary care physicians, we use acupuncture to treat back pain, arthritis, migraines, allergies, high blood pressure, thyroid disorders, hormone imbalances, stress, and more using all natural medical therapies. We treat the source of your problems, not just your symptoms. For more information, go to abetteryouhealthcare.com or call today to set up your appointment. 352-615-5566.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
A psychopath may love absolutely everything about you. For example, if you say you're shy, they'll laugh at every joke you attempt. If you're an avid hiker obsessed with modern art, they'll probably love that too. There's no conclusive research proving that echinacea is effective against the common cold. Instead, take vitamin D. People who do the most texting at night have the worst sleep.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
You're listening to WOCA, Ocala.
All right, thank you. 69 degrees. It's 12 minutes before 8 o'clock. The phone lines are open if you want to chime in on the Ferguson, Missouri topic. The number, if you don't know, is 622-9622. The number, if you do know, is 622-9622. Same number. Whether you know it or not, that's the number. The area code is 352 if you're out of the area. The Associated Press has issued a news article that asks the question, what is next in the Ferguson case? So I wanted to share that with you. What other investigations are underway? The answer to that question is the FBI and the Justice Department are continuing to investigate the shooting for potential civil rights violations. Just as in the O.J. Simpson case, he wasn't found, he was acquitted, I guess you're saying. I don't know if not guilty applies. I have to ask John Fuller. But anyway, he was acquitted. But he still had civil rights violations, which I'll never understand. If you're found not guilty of shooting somebody, how do you even qualify for a civil rights trial? But he did, and this is also going to happen here. Investigators would need to satisfy a standard of proof in order to mount a prosecution in a civil rights violation case, whereas the county grand jury could consider multiple charges. Justice Department lawyers have a single focus: whether it can be shown that Wilson willfully deprived Brown of his civil rights. That is a difficult burden to meet, especially considering the wide latitude given to police officers in using deadly force. Do you know, a child, a human, is somebody's loved one, no matter how old they are. A child, 18 is a child. I'm not saying that I actually have a clearer opinion about the Zimmerman case than I do about this case. In this case, it sounded like Brown really was a problem. In the Zimmerman case, Trayvon Martin did not seem like a problem.
No.
To me. In the Zimmerman case, Zimmerman did not need to get out of the car.
No.
The whole thing could have been avoided. In this case, I can't even imagine what was happening. I can't put myself in their shoes, but I can put myself in Zimmerman's shoes. I can say, I'll stay in the car.
Exactly.
I'm not going to get out. I'm going to approach this young man. I'm going to say, are you okay? I mean, you're walking out here. This is my job. My job is to patrol the streets. But instead, they got into a fight, whatever.
Yeah.
There was another story yesterday, and this is why I started to say that, a child is a child. There was a police officer shot a child. Remember yesterday? Oh gosh, where's that story?
Yeah. That was
in Cleveland.
Because he had a toy gun.
He had an what do you call it? Air gun, pistol.
Yeah.
Cleveland police say officers fatally shot 12-year-old Tamir Rice as the youth reached for an air pistol in his waistband. Chief Calvin Williams said the air pistol was indistinguishable from a real firearm. They do show photos of it. It does look like a gun.
Yeah, because the orange thing, the kid even took the orange
Right.
thing off. That's required by law.
The orange tip indicating that the gun was not a real firearm had been removed. I don't know. Maybe there's not enough time. This is why I want to hear from a police officer. Maybe there's not enough time to respond by picking up a taser instead of a gun. Maybe there's not enough time. Maybe I don't know enough about tasers.
Yeah.
Maybe you really can't do anything unless you're really close. I don't really know.
They need to improve the tasers then.
But that is a horrible story, too.
Yeah, that's very horrible.
Another question that the Associated Press asked their legal team was, what about the broader allegations of racial insensitivity on the part of the Ferguson Police Department? And the response was, beyond the shooting itself, the Justice Department is conducting a wide-reaching investigation into the practices of the entire department. That investigation is focusing on stops, searches, and arrests, and generally looking for patterns of discrimination within the overwhelmingly white police department. It has the potential to require major changes in the policing methods of the Ferguson force. We had on the show a police officer from New Orleans, remember?
Yes.
And he happened to be a black man, and he wrote a book. And part of his book was about police, and we asked him, was that from anything you went through? And that's how we discovered he was a police officer.
Yeah.
And the problem he had as a black police officer in New Orleans was that a lot of the animosity toward the police was even worse toward him. Because other black people thought that the police are bad guys and you have crossed the line. You are a traitor. You're working for the bad guy.
Right, exactly.
And he had to face that. And he was talking about the 60s or 70s. And he said it wasn't that way anymore.
Yeah.
I bet it still is.
Yeah.
I bet it still is. I don't know. Maybe it's not as bad as it once was. But he was referring to it as something that once was, that has now fixed itself.
Yeah. But I think it still is. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be somebody out there that's not going to be kind and going to have something to make a situation volatile.
The Justice Department has not set a timeline for either of the investigations that the Associated Press was writing about earlier. Attorney General Eric Holder, as you know, is retiring, but he's staying there for now.
Yeah.
He said he expects the federal investigation into the shooting will be concluded before he leaves office. So, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, everybody in this case is saying that they're Christians, every single one of them. But if you look at this in John 13:35, it says, by this all will know that you are my disciples, if you have love among yourselves. It's plain and simple.
That is plain and simple, yeah. That's right. I wish everybody would realize that. That's a really good point. Thank you for the call. Yeah, he had nothing else to say, but look, I didn't hang up on him. He just wanted to deliver that simple, beautiful message.
Right.
Absolutely. Exactly. Boy, is that a great point or what?
Exactly.
That is really a great point. And from everybody's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. See, again, if I was a police officer, I don't know what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was a police officer. I don't know. I couldn't have done what my dad did.
Yeah.
Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, it's Mike.
Hey, Mike.
I'd like to know what the vote was on the grand jury. The grand jury was loaded in the first place. You had 9 whites and 3 blacks. Did any of the blacks vote for exoneration? And the next thing I would like to ask is, policemen are armed for a reason. Now, they go to the firing range often. They can shoot to kill, or they can shoot to injure, or they can shoot to stop you. They can tase you. This victim was shot several times. Regarding the what triggered the incident in the first place, I believe the grand jury had to take all this in consideration. It started with petty theft or robbery, whatever you want to call it. And apparently there was a confrontation between the victim and the police officer. And once he told him to stop, and he came and put his hands up and was approaching him, he could have used a taser, he could have shot him in the leg. But what I understand, he was shot multiple times. And then he laid in the street, like a common dog or animal or something like that, a rabid dog. So all of these incidents had to weigh into the grand jury's decision. The thing is, I would really like to know how they voted. Did the 9 whites vote to exonerate him and the 3 blacks voted not to?
That's a good question.
Or was there some of the blacks that voted in favor of exoneration? I'll hang up and I'll listen to you.
And thank you for that. And see, I don't really know all that happened. And again, I'm saying the grand jury must have had more information. And if you're right that the grand jury's decision was split along racial lines, gosh, what does that tell you?
Yeah.
A decision on criminal charges requires agreement from at least 9 of the 12. So I don't have the breakdown of the. It's out there somewhere. It's got to be out there somewhere.
In this case, they would always have the breakdown because it's supposed to be transparent. Everything.
Yeah.
You don't have to give the names of the people, but because they're supposed to be transparent.
Yeah, it says 9 out of 12. Let me see if this article says something. The phone lines are open. We got about 3 minutes if you want to call in, 622-9622. I just, the first caller with the passage of Scripture, absolutely, that's the way I feel about everything. Mm-hmm. Everything. I don't think I could have been a police officer, but that doesn't mean I don't appreciate what police officers do. In fact, it means I appreciate it even more.
Yeah.
And we do have a racial divide in our country, and it does go both ways. It depends on which story you're looking at. You'll see a different story. Well, we just had that one story about
the opposite.
That other kid.
Yeah, and there wasn't any of this ridiculousness.
But I think I guess to conclude, if I were in charge. I don't know if that would be the president or the governor or the mayor or whatever. But I think I would ask, hey, everybody who is in police, everybody who is in law enforcement, we can't be having police officers shooting 12 years old with an air gun. We can't be shooting kids that are walking through the streets with Skittles in their pockets. Mm-hmm. We can't have this. We can't have this. We have to have some ideas. If you're the president of the United States or the mayor of a city or anything in between, you don't work in law enforcement. You don't have the ideas.
No.
But those in law enforcement do.
Yes.
You respect their experience and you invite them for a meeting. And you say, I don't want to stand up here and tell you what to do. I want you to tell me what we should do. We, the legislators, our job is to make laws. We're not sure what laws to make regarding this. We need some input. We need some input from you, those in law enforcement.
Well said.
We need you to stand up and say, I've had this idea for a while. I wish somebody would listen to me. Well, this is your chance.
Yeah.
Let's listen to these men and women who work in law enforcement and find out what we can do that is a better idea than shooting people, regardless of whether it causes a riot or not. The riot is ridiculous. It's the other point I wanted to deal with.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
This is a Fox News Alert. I'm Lillian Wu. Fury in Ferguson following a grand jury decision not to indict the officer who shot a black teen as rioters set businesses and cars on fire at one shopping center.
Every single business here, the Chop Suey place, the Jade Nails location, the salon, and the laundromat were all looted. We're all basically beaten up, and we're, at least in the case at the end, I'm not even sure what business was there, was set on fire.
Fox's Adam Housley in Ferguson, at least 29 people arrested.
The National Guard has come in now. There are questions of where they were last night. We've had a couple police officers ask us that, if we'd seen them.
The mayor of St. Louis speaking just now, saying the violence...
It really sets back the cause of social justice.
Also saying that officials will be prepared again tonight. The family of the teen, Michael Brown, says they're profoundly disappointed. Fox News, we report, you decide.